A world-renowned research lab in Canada's far north is shutting down. It's run out of funding and it's set to close later this spring. Scientists say that'll be a major blow to climate change research. Margot McDermott has the story.
It's the world's most northerly research station, but now the Polar Environment Atmospheric Research Laboratory is closing due to lack of money.
There's no real program now that would fund a substantial Arctic research station like ours, so there's nowhere else to go to, really.
The lab, known as Pearl, is at the top of Ellesmere Island. It was set up 7 years ago by a network of scientists who raised money to start it. The pristine location allows researchers to study changes in the atmosphere and climate change in the Arctic. It made headlines last year when it spotted a huge hole in the ozone over the Arctic. But the Canadian Climate Foundation that provided grants to Pearl has been cut, so the Arctic Lab has lost its money too.
They'll be losing knowledge of what actually happens in the Arctic, and quite frankly, globally, we'll have a black eye because we'll be seen just not to be producing the data for this global effort to understand the planet.
Astronomy professor Ray Carlberg uses the Ellesmere Island lab for his Arctic telescope because it's so clear and dark. Closing that lab could affect his research.
In the worst case, it terminates it, and we'd have to find some way around it.
Environment Minister Peter Kent told Question Period today the Pearl scientists failed to get the grants they needed, so the small weather station that remains will keep some of the research going.
That said, Environment Canada will continue to monitor ozone and the atmosphere at Eureka.
Scientists say they'll start packing up the Polar Lab right away, and within 2 months, Canada's research eye on the Arctic atmosphere will close its doors. Margot McDermott, CBC News, Ottawa.